You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Monday, April 26th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, Star Trek Discovery pauses production as a key person quarantines due to COVID-19 exposure. Michael Dorn appears as Worf in a new Apple Arcade ad for Star Trek Legends, and John de Lancie has been dropping hints about Q in his Cameo videos. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by Every Plate. Try Every Plate for just $1.99 per meal, plus an additional 20% off your next 2 boxes, by going to everyplate.com and entering code DSTN199. All right, first up today, Star Trek Discovery has paused production for 2 weeks after a close call with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Deadline brought us the news of the halt in production, which is happening while cases of the disease continue to rise in the Toronto area, where much of the 4th season is being filmed. CBS Studios made the decision to pause production on the series after a Zone A individual came in close proximity with another individual known to be positive for COVID-19. The term Zone A refers to people who are key cast and production members on the series. Deadline noted that the person who tested positive is not involved with the series and was never on set. The Zone A individual has not returned to the set since being exposed. Production on the 4th season of Discovery began in November 2020 after several months of being delayed due to the pandemic. The 2-week pause in production will see the series continue filming sometime near May 6th and will likely mean an extended filming schedule originally scheduled to finish in mid-June. Now, it isn't the only brush with COVID that the franchise has run into lately. Earlier this month, an upcoming guest star on Star Trek Strange New Worlds tested positive after arriving in Ontario to film. Fortunately, the unnamed guest never arrived on set and had limited contact with the Strange New Worlds crew, meaning that production on that series could continue. The 4th season of Discovery is expected to premiere later this year. Until then, you can catch up on the first 3 seasons, along with all of your favorite Star Trek series, available to stream now on Paramount+. Now, next up, we finally had the big reveal from Star Trek star Michael Dorn's mysterious promotional tweets from last week. And it is an ad for the new game Star Trek Legends on Apple Arcade. To bring you up to speed, last Monday, Dorn tweeted cryptically "Starfleet calls," prompting many Star Trek fans to erroneously assume that he was announcing a return to the Star Trek universe on Paramount+. But that theory was debunked quickly, and later in the week he followed up with a teaser that appeared to be footage from the video game Star Trek Legends. Then on Friday, Dorn revealed the full ad in a Twitter post. He tweeted, "Do you have what it takes to captain the USS Artemis?" In the 30-second ad, Dorn as Worf sets up the premise for Star Trek Legends. "This is the USS Artemis," he says. "Immediate assistance required. We have entered the Nexus. Nothing is as it seems. Federation officers, past and present, united with former enemies to stop the Dreamless. Spock is down. The hull has been breached. Reality is collapsing around us, if you are hearing this." The short video features gameplay interspersed with Worf's cutscene and ends with the slogan, "Answer the call." Responses to the spot from fans were mixed. Some were disappointed that Worf doesn't appear to be returning to television. Others complained that the game is exclusive to Apple Arcade and therefore requires an Apple device and a monthly subscription. But there were also a number of fans simply pleased to hear Worf's voice again. Star Trek Legends is a free-to-play game available for devices running Apple Arcade. You can find out more, including how to download and how to sign up for Apple Arcade, in your device's app store. I've got more news in a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, Every Plate. Every Plate is a meal kit service. It's the less expensive and more fulfilling alternative to getting takeout. And listen, I know you've heard of other meal kits before, but what sets Every Plate apart is the price. It's already more affordable than other meal kits, and I'll tell you how to get a special offer here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you why I think it's worth your time. Last night, I had Every Plate's garlic rosemary chicken with roasted root vegetables, and it kind of blew my mind. Now, this is not a ready meal. It's a real meal that you cook yourself, but with the hard bits already done. I worked from an easy-to-follow recipe card, and all the ingredients arrived pre-portioned. All I did was prep and cook. And even though the recipe was easy, it was so good that I even learned something too. They included how to make a sauce for the chicken that, let me tell you, we were literally scraping it off the pan. It was so good. It was amazing. Even the portion sizes were generous. Their meal for 4 fed all 4 of us, including the teenage boy, and we also had a little leftover for lunch tomorrow. Now, the best part is they have a changing menu of 14 recipes per week, so if roasted root veggies are not your style, they've also got plenty of other meals that you can choose from. So, I promised you a special offer, so here it is. As a daily Star Trek News listener, you can try Every Plate for just $1.99 per meal, plus an additional 20% off your next 2 boxes by heading to everyplate.com and using the code DSTN199 when you sign up. Head to everyplate.com, click on Get Started, and use the code DSTN199 to try them out for $1.99 per meal and 20% off your next 2 boxes. That's everyplate.com and the offer code DSTN199. And a big thanks to Every Plate for sponsoring today's show. And also for feeding my family. Right. Next up today, cast your mind back to First Contact Day 2021, which happened earlier this month. One of the big surprise announcements was that John de Lancie would be returning to the Star Trek universe, reprising his role as Q in the 2nd season of Star Trek Picard. Now de Lancie is getting a reputation for dropping hints about his upcoming appearance in videos that he's recording for Cameo. Our friends at trekmovie.com helpfully compiled several of his recent videos that help put together a picture of what his role will be like in Star Trek Picard Season 2. A recurring theme is that Q will be doing a fair bit of annoying our newly android former captain. Trek Movie quotes de Lancie's cameo to Kyle, in which he says, "You might not know this, but Q is back, and I have been spending the last month really annoying Picard in the new show, Picard." Cameo, for those of you who might not be aware, is a service where you can pay to have celebrities send you or a loved one a personalized message. You can ask a question or just get a hello on the service. Celebrities and public figures can set their own prices for the service, and occasionally they offer contributions to charity. The Cameo from de Lancie will currently set you back $150. Now, in addition to promising to annoy Picard, in other Cameo videos, de Lancie also indicated that he will be in at least 2 episodes of the show, which might include the season's premiere, and that Jonathan Frakes would be directing. It's worth noting that none of these details have been officially announced by Paramount+, but despite his character being known as a trickster, you can probably trust John de Lancie as a reliable narrator. To watch a selection of de Lancie's Cameo videos and read more details, head to trekmovie.com. And to catch up on Season 1 of Star Trek Picard, and maybe a few old Q episodes while you're at it, head over to Paramount+, the one and only home of the Star Trek universe. Well, that's it for today's daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, with selected stories by Chris Peterson. Today's show was sponsored by Every Plate. Try Every Plate for just $1.99 per meal, plus an additional 20% off your next 2 boxes by going to everyplate.com and entering the offer code DSTN199. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know and this week's Trek Trivia. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.